Hello and good afternoon.
Hello, good afternoon.
Yeah, it's already past 2. Let me welcome you to Module 6 of the Youth Eco-Resilience Project, where we'll be focusing on internal and urban migration, the new climate nomads. It's a 1-hour session, and we invite everyone to be flexible, to take part in whatsoever way they can to ensure that this session is as fruitful as possible. All right, so I think the rest of the people will find us in the process of doing our live stream. Let me begin by introducing what climate migration is all about or how it happens. So basically, climate migration, induced migration happens when environmental changes force people to leave their homes, possibly due to floods, the heat, and all other challenges that might come in that process. However, we have main drivers of climate-induced migration, and these ones are applying across most of the countries, or I should say across everywhere, since almost each and every country is facing the impacts of climate change. And we're going to dive deeper into about 5 major drivers, and these include crop failure, water scarcity, extreme heat, flooding, and loss of livelihood. These are some of the, I should say, the main drivers of climate-induced migration. Allow me to explain each and every driver here. When we're looking at crop failure, it's mostly something to do with prolonged droughts, unpredictable rainfall, for example, could be unseasonal frost or intense heat during the growing season. Sometimes during these moments, we also have increased pests and diseases that are mostly linked to high temperatures. And sometimes there is also desertification that follows, making the land become infertile. Also, as it happens, we begin to face food insecurity just because crops are not doing very well due to these factors. So, especially for those communities that rely on subsistence farming, it means during this moment, they can no longer harvest enough for themselves. At the same time, it means they have, for example, find themselves into debts because it means the home no longer has money or food to take them through over their livelihood. And this, by the end of the day, forces people to move into other areas or into other regions. When we look at water scarcity, water is almost 90% of everything that we do. And usually the problem with water scarcity comes when we have droughts or when there is glacial melting, which reduces long-term river flows. And because of this, we have depletion of water, including groundwater, which sometimes we can depend on. At the same time, we look at factors to do with salty water or saltwater intrusion that also comes in the process. And due to water scarcity, now it becomes a competition, to try and find water for example, for agriculture or for household use, or sometimes for industrial use. And when this happens, it means we are lacking short of proper sanitation, health, as well as agriculture. These factors also force people to move from their location into somewhere else. Let me also look at the extreme heat. When we're looking at extreme heat here in Malawi, it's a very good example because we also face this. And I think my colleagues later will try and explain that in some deeper way. Actually, increase in temperatures will, by the end of the day, also increase in what we call the wet bulb temperature, whereby we measure the combination of heat and humidity. And when this happens, it actually becomes really difficult for us as human beings, to sustain very well, because the body is made to try and sweat in order to cool down. But when this happens beyond certain temperatures, it becomes very unbearable, and then we move to other places where we can find our livelihood so cool. Let me also talk something to do with flooding. When floods happen, sometimes they wash away homes, they wash away the land that people are supposed to cultivate their food on. Sometimes they completely get rid of everything that a community might be depending on. And by the end of the day, people are forced to move or to relocate to other places. Okay. When we look at the loss of livelihood, these are some of the cross-cutting consequences of most of the things that I've explained. And in that process, people also lose their livelihood. And due to that, they find themselves moving in with either internally within the country, or sometimes even beyond, going to, crossing the borders to other countries. So it should occur to everyone to say people are not moving by choice, but they are rather moving in search for survival. And this is actually the reality that I explained here in Malawi, and actually across the world as well. Let me allow my friend to come in and explain something regarding what are the causes of climate-induced migration as far as Malawi is concerned. And colleagues from other countries, you also be able to tell us what you think are the causes of climate migration, climate-induced migration in your own countries. Thank you. What passou? I think this guy maybe is facing some internet challenges, probably. That's why he's not yet here. In that case, I'll just proceed explaining this part. Here in Malawi, we have climate pressures which are increasingly driving people away. Like I explained in the introductory part, we face more frequent droughts here in Malawi. We have prolonged dry spells, flash floods, and unpredictable rainfall. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a reality here in Malawi. This is exactly what is happening and is the kind of pressure that we're receiving almost each and every year. For example, here in Kasungu district and much of the central region, most of the people struggle with crop failure because sometimes we're receiving erratic rains and sometimes the heat is just too much beyond what most of our staple food can tolerate. And due to this, we fail to harvest enough. Families lose food, and because most of the farmers greatly depend on agriculture for their livelihood, it means there is also a high loss of income. And all this forces people to move, especially young people, from the local areas into the cities in search for jobs and other opportunities and try to survive. At the same time, several climate pressures are also pushing people, like it was mentioned in the introduction, to say droughts, dry spells, and floods, as well as unpredictable rainfall, all in combination, the factors that we are experiencing at the moment. And according to the Malawi Vulnerability Assessment Committee of 2019, over 40% of the households in the district are facing food insecurities due to droughts impact, and communities are struggling with insecurity and livelihood challenges. These climate shocks are creating new migration patterns, those from the village migrating into the cities in search for proper livelihood. There is also pressure for resources and also due to high unemployment rate. All these things in combination are forcing people to move into new places where they can find themselves a proper livelihood. As we face these challenges, it is very important, of course, that we build resilience and try to find adaptation strategies so that we can try as much as possible to mitigate the impacts of climate-induced migration. Maybe you can share with us from your countries to say at least two people can just share with us directly here, but the rest will ask you to type that in the chat. I think I'll invite my colleague to share with us some of the statistical data regarding this issue. Thank you.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Sware Halawa and I'm from Malawi. I'm here to explain more on statistics data regarding internal and urban migration. According to the Department of Climate Change and Meteorological Services, Malawi has been experiencing several droughts 2 to 3 years in the past decade. Thousands of thousands are affected each cycle, leaving many with no options but to reallocate temporarily or permanently. And Malawi's internal and urban migrations, driven mainly by climate change shocks, especially droughts, that are now strike every 2 to 3 years. And the statistics data show that in 2024 alone, the severe El Nino drought displaced around 400,000 people and left 5.7 million, representing 28% of the total population of 22.2 million facing acute food insecurities. And also in 2023, Cyclone Freddy displaced over 500,000 people, forcing families to reallocate. Finally, rural to urban migration accounts for about 54% of all internal movements and drives more than half of the urban growth, leading to 4.1 to 5% per year, pushing the urban population to nearly 20%, which is representing 4.4 million. Thank you.
I'll take you through the examples. Malawi is seeing an increase in internal and urban migration, with many people moving to Lilongwe, Blantyre, and Zuzu and Mango in search of safety, jobs, and more stable conditions. Young people in particular are moving after climate shocks destroy their rural livelihoods. Climate change is increasingly affecting people's ability to live and work in their home areas, leading to movement across districts and into cities. Floods and droughts are the main drivers of climate migration. Frequent flooding in Nsanje, Salima, Chikwawa, Mangochi, and Zomba force families to leave their homes every rainy season. Prolonged droughts in Balaka, Ncheu, Dedza, Chikwawa, and Nchinji reduce crop yields and create food insecurity, pushing people to search for better opportunities elsewhere. While soil degradation in Doa, Kasungu, Nino, and Cholo also make farming difficult, and declining in fish stocks in Nkodagoda, Salima, Karonga, and Mangushi are pushing fishing communities to relocate and find a better place where they can have more fish stocks. These new climate nomads are forcing individuals and families to move repeatedly due to changing environmental conditions. We might see in cases where fishermen are shifting between Nkodagoda, Salima, and Mangochi just for them to find a place where they can get more fish stocks. Farmers relocating from place to place, such as Balaka, Jikwawa, and Karabend in Zimba. Flood-affected households moving from one place to another to find a good place where they can settle and be safe. Next slide. Yeah, thank you very much.
Hello, my name is Beatrice Mbere. I'm from Malawi. We just wanted to take some of the comments that you commented in the chat. I hear someone has written drought, landslide, and flooding. And then also we have drought forces from their lands along with economic hardships. And we also have this one, mining sector, cyclone, water pollution due to contamination with waste starch paper. And then we also have this one who said floods and landslides forces people to migrate to places they have to adjust financially to survive. And then this one said drought and floods force people to migrate to other parts in search of better living. And the last one that I have in the comment box it says prolonged droughts. So these are some of the comments that we've had in the chat so far.
All right. Thank you so much. We've been listening quite attentively to the real examples of how people are being forced to move out of their home areas into new places, not because of choice, but because the environment has forced them to do so. We would like to hear from you, to say what are the other real examples that you may have and you can share with us. We just want to take from two directly from here. So you just raise your hand and then we'll try and give you space to say something. Other real examples that you either have heard about or you have come across them in your own community. Yes, Tom Kayange.
Hello, I hope you are hearing me.
Yes.
Okay, I want to add one of the example which is happening in our country, some of the cause of climate-induced immigration within within Malawi. Like we have example, one example is okay. Okay, we have one example is poor waste management, which also is one of the example which is affecting our country, more especially like people who have children, young children who have just given birth. There are a lot of waste which are thrown everywhere within a surrounding area. Thereby people whereby people are moving from that area to another area because of poor waste management, which are thrown everywhere. Just wanted to add on that. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Maxwell Solobala.
All right, thank you for the opportunity. Actually, I wanted to add another example, especially about Cyclone Freddy, which happened in 2023. So I just wanted to cite like what actually happened to a certain village in Zimbabwe. Some people from a certain village called Taushira village, whose homes were completely destroyed during the cyclone, they were later relocated to a certain area called Mikolongwe, and that area was later named as Musa village. So this was only because of cyclone which happened in 2023. So it's a real life example which happened in Malawi and in Chilanzulu district, that people were displaced from their own home village to another area which is so new to them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Maxwell. You try and raise your voice next time so that we can hear you properly. Anyone else who would like to give us some of the real examples they have come across in their own communities? You can also, as you're trying to do that, you can also try and give us just type in the chat box one cause of climate-induced migration you have so far observed in your area. Could be in addition to those that we've already discussed here, or anything that you may try to add on this as we move to the next. All right. We've looked at someone wants to say something?
Oh yes, Venecio, we have two comments in the comment section.
Yes.
We have this one said, floods and climate-related sorry, I'll take that one again. Floods and climate-related wildfires push people away from their communities. And this one was also giving the direct answer, said floods is one example. And the last one said, my age mates in my community have migrated to Salima Sugar Company to find casual labor, which has led to reducing labor force in the community as well as increasing population in Salima. That is all that I had from the comment box.
Thank you so much. Indeed, as people are moving from their homes into new places, we should expect that the population of that new area is going to increase. And like I said in the beginning, we start now struggling for the little resources that are within that community, which by the end of the day makes this whole thing quite difficult sometimes, but also complicated, all due to climate-induced migration impacts. Now, we would like to quickly move into what are the effects of climate-induced migration. We've from our introductory part, we looked at the 5 drivers of climate-induced migration, and we also focused on what are the major causes of climate-induced migration from within our country, but also beyond. And we've tried to focus on what are the major or real examples that we've so far faced in this process. Now, I would like to look at what exactly are the effects of climate-induced migration. So, when migration occurs, it affects both communities, meaning the people that live behind, at the same time, the communities that receive these climate nomads. So these impacts include social, economic, and environmental, and they are felt immediately. In Malawi, we are stressing more about Malawi because, we come from here, so we are quite conversant with what is happening here. And in cities like Lilongwe, which is the capital of Malawi, and Blantyre, we are already experiencing these things. We have high population, most of the people moving out of their villages and into these cities in order to fend for themselves. And as more and more people arrive looking for safety, can you hear me?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, great. So as more people are moving into these places, there is overcrowding that is happening, a lot of informal settlements, which by the end of the day also affect the health of the people in as far as sanitation is concerned. And people live in smaller houses, for example, and families share limited space. And some people are forced to live indeed in some unsafe places or some unsafe areas, sometimes even near rivers or unplanned locations, which by the end of the day also puts these people in some great danger. For many migrants, especially young people, it becomes difficult to secure decent accommodation. And at the same time, water shortages become more frequent. when these populations keep increasing, like we mentioned in the beginning, water begins to become a challenge to get, okay? Because now more people are coming in, yet we are still focusing on the same small sources of water that we usually have. And this, most of the time, is creating a lot of challenges, especially in those areas that people depend on to collect water from. Like one of the participants here mentioned, an issue to do with waste management is also a challenge because the more people are migrating into the area, the more waste they are producing. And sometimes managing this waste altogether becomes a very challenging thing, to an extent that when you walk around most of the places, especially those that are really congested, you find that there is a lot of waste, and there are a lot of other things that rise from there. Things to do with, for example, cholera issues are quite common, and other waterborne diseases that are also common in such areas. Unemployment, which is a very big challenge right now, continues to be a challenge as people are also migrating, because people are struggling for the same little resources that are at their disposal. Let me actually invite my colleague to do some addition on this part. Keith. Is Keith here?
Hello. Can you hear me?
Yes, yes.
You can
All right.
hear.
Hello, everyone. My name is Keith, and I will be highlighting on the effects of urban migration. So first of all, urban migration often causes an increased climatic vulnerability. So on this, the issue is that migrants often settle in flood-prone areas or unsafe areas. And at most times, these areas are unsafe. Why are they safe? It is mostly because these people will most likely meet like flood, landslides, or even drought. Secondly, I'll move on to the point of social tension. So on this one, as the migrants within the cities, there is always a competition over access and control of resources between these new migrants and the urban residents. And if
Sorry, Keith, we can't hear you properly. Maybe check your mic. Keith, are you there? It's probably due to network. I'm sure of that.
hello, sorry about that. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes. So if the
Your mic is off, Keith. Your mic, you are muted. Keith, you are muted.
hello, can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes. The last effect of urban migration is on overcrowding within the cities, because as the people are moving from the rural areas into the cities, there's always an increase in population, the rapid increase in population. So this puts a lot of pressure on the services that are there. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Keith. Indeed, ladies and gentlemen, to be honest, most of these challenges that Keith has highlighted here are the ones that are really greatly affecting us in one way or the other. And maybe to add strength on that one, I will invite another person to say something regarding that. But then we will try and ask Beatrice to read what has been written in the comment section. Beatrice.
Oh, yes. Thank you. Thank you, Venancio. I can hear you. So far, we haven't received any in the comment section. Yes, yes.
All right. So to conclude on the effects, you see, we've talked a number of issues that are relating to the effects that are, by the end of the day, happening as far as climate-induced migration is concerned. And we just wanted to invite you to share with us which you think are the effects that affect your community mostly. You can type that in the chat, but you can focus on urban overcrowding, youth unemployment, food insecurity, loss of farmland, and other issues that you can try to write there. Let me proceed to the next part, where we'll be looking at a story that our colleague will be sharing with us regarding what happened in Tauchila village in traditional solitary Kose in Chilazuru district, which is found in the southern region of Malawi. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'm Tony Matthews. I'm a climate justice champion. For the past years, I've been working with the farmers who are affected by the impact of climate change, but also I've been working with the victims of climate-induced disasters in Malawi and the southern region. So I would like to tell a story of the tragedy of Tauchila village. So in Malawi, in 2023, March, we experienced the most devastating climate-induced disaster called Cyclone Freddy, which affected most the southern region of Malawi. During this time, Cyclone Freddy brought a lot of rains, which triggered flooding and landslide from mountains and hillsides in several districts, including Chilazuru district, where Tauchila village is located. This Tauchila village is just below, at the foot of a hill in the area of traditional authority Koswe. And it's one of the villages which was hardest hit by the Cyclone Freddy. I personally witnessed the entire village, the destruction of the entire village by a massive mudslide and landslide, which was triggered by flooding from the hills. I had several occasions of listening to the stories of the victims, and I also had a few of the difficulties they were passing through. A tragedy of Tauchila village. It was just past midnight in early March 2023, when the people of Tauchila village in Chilazuru believed they would wake to another routine day. They had been under rains for near a week, which is normal in Malawi, that during rainy season, we can have rains in so many days. And it is normal that we experience huge dripping water, streams swelling, But for Ntauchira village, nothing was suggesting a disaster. Their lives were rooted in this, their land, their homes clustered close, children going to school, farmers tending their fields, and families building their future. Then at around 3 a.m., a terrible crash rose from Jambe Mountain above the village. A massive landslide, a wall of mud, water, and uprooted earth tore down the hillside. In minutes, the mud sheet crashed the village. Houses evaporated under the overflow. People were carried away in darkness. Some screamed, some tried to run, but roads were blocked. Rescue was impossible. By dawn, Ntauchira village had vanished as if it never existed. Initial reports spoke of several dead, dozens injured, and many missing. Homes, memories, and histories elapsed. Families left with grief, shock, and nothing but uncertainty. In the days that followed, the survivors located to a temporary camp, which included the school buildings, community centers, shelters for the displaced. And at this moment, their lives paused. Children went missing their school classes, adults mourning, entire families depending on hope. Weeks later, authorities and community leaders identified a safer place in Mikolongwe to resettle the survivors. They called it Musa Village. Plans were drawn, 59 new houses, 1 acre of farmland per household, a chance to rebuild. Slowly, with the help from the community partners and organizations, homes emerged. Families moved in. Survivors planted maize, sweet potatoes, pigeon peas. Some even received goats. First goat, then goat offspring, passed on in the spirit of renewal. A semblance of normalcy returned. Yet, beneath the new roofs lay grief, unanswered questions, and deep loss. For many, life will never be the same. The land of their ancestors, childhood memories, childhood friendship, all gone. In exchange, they got brick walls, farmland, goats, but also a memory that would never fade. Ntauchira, the village swallowed by the mud, lost to climate's fury. Their journey from loss to resettlement, from land to new land, is a powerful example of what it means to become a climate nomad. They did not choose to move. The climate forced them. Yet, amid its loss, they found resolve. They reshaped themselves, rebuilt, and grew again. As we young people, as we continue discussing about the rural and urban migration, climate displacement, and the future of a warming world, Ntauchira's story stands as a call to remember. For many, migration is not a choice. It is survival. And survivors deserve not just charity, they deserve dignity, they deserve support, and they deserve a chance to rebuild their whole lives again. Thank you for paying attention.
Thank you so much. That was Matthews trying to share with us quite a touching story about Ntauchira village. This is not a make-up story. This is real. It happened when Cyclone Freddy hit some parts of Malawi, and a lot of people lost their lives. Now, looking at what we've so far covered, we would like to go into what we've suggested as some of the solutions that can help in as far as the impacts of climate change are concerned, and how, as young people, we can work together to try and reduce or try and do something, to curb these impacts of climate change. Let me invite Justin to share with us. Actually, Justin um, and her colleague to support us on what they think are some of the solutions. Thank you.
Hello, everyone. My name is Justin James from Malawi, and I'll be taking you through some of the solutions that we as the youth we can take part in impact, reducing the impact of climate-induced migration in order to make other way to make those people affected by this climate should survive, other than just focus on relocating to other places. So here are some of actions that we need to take as a youth. We need to take so that we can find another way to survive other than just to focus on relocating to other places. So first, we as the youth, we can start and supporting climate smart agriculture. At the same time, we can promote water harvesting, as well as leading community awareness, and also climate campaign, and also entrepreneurship, while also take into first 4 points other continue by my colleague Anganile. So let's dive into explanation of this point. So first, as a youth, we can take action by start or supporting climate smart agriculture. So people can adopt a farming practices that boost food production in a sustainable way, strengthen farmers' ability to cope up with climate shocks like drought, floods, and also at the same time help reduce greenhouse gases emissions. For example, including growing drought crop tolerant for example, growing drought tolerant crops and also integrating trees into our farms. In this way, while understanding that a climate impact also affect agriculture, so we people in our community we need to adopt these farming practices. So by doing that, it will improve food security, strengthen resilience, and as well as stabilize rural livelihood, thereby reducing pressure to migrate, especially among young people. Another solution that youth we need to take is promoting water harvesting. Water harvesting, this need people to collect and storing water, rainwaters from rooftops and opening spaces for us to be used during dry spells. By collecting and storing rainwater, community may have enough water for drinking, for cropping, and as well as to practice some small gardens even when drought spells hit. This increases household stability and also prevent people from leaving rural areas due to water stresses, more especially young people. Another point is leading community awareness. This, as a youth within our community, we need to be on front to lead our communities on issues of climate, on issues of awareness on impact of climate, climate-induced migration and the impact. So This involves young people can organize meetings or training sessions to reduce to educate community members, especially those at risk about climate changes, also on how it contributes to migration and also practical adaptation measures they can adopt to stay resilient. Therefore, by doing this awareness campaign teaches community how to manage resources, prepare for climate risks, as well as adopting better farming and water plus practices. At the end, when people understand adaptation options, they can respond locally instead of migrating to other cities. Another solution that youth think to take part in solving climate impact migration is learning digital climate campaign. People may also use online platforms such as social media, mobile apps, and other digital tools to share important climate messages, raising awareness, simplifying technical information, and also encourage individuals and groups to take climate actions. By sharing adaptation tips, adaptation tips, early warnings, opportunities, and community solutions, this campaign empower young people and entire community to stay engaged in local development instead of viewing migration as only option for their survival. Thank you. My colleague will continue where I have stopped. Thank you.
Anganira, are you here?
Maybe Venasio, before Anganile comes in, I've got some comments in here. I don't know if I can take this. Okay, we have a comment from Anita Tembo. She says, my suggestion that can work in Kabudula village, Chikwawa, are supporting climate smart agriculture, rainwater harvesting, promoting community awareness, and visual campaign. So far, this is what we've got. From the previous, I don't know if I can also do from the previous slides. Can I?
Yes.
Okay. We had this comment from Diverson Chirwa. He said, urban pressure is really a problem even here in Zomba, where there are new people coming in the city. And we also heard from Anita Tembo said, food insecurity and loss of farmland is the major problem in Chikwawa. And then from Andrew Jailos, he said, reduced local markets and tax base can cause economic decline and underdevelopment. This is the case where Malawi is one of the countries where people migrate to South Africa. The rate of crimes do increases. This is because migration is about survival. So if they can't find what they want in urban, they are likely to steal. So that is all that I got from the chat box. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Anganile.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you.
All right. So is my video on? Like I can see, I think it's the network, but then I can see the video.
You mean you cannot see the slide?
No, like I've switched on the video, but then I'm not able to see myself there.
You can switch it off if it is disturbing the other parts that you're supposed to work on.
All right, thank you. So on the youth solutions, to continue from where my colleague stopped, so we can form youth climate clubs. So these will be able to help raise awareness to other people, like how they can be able to, deal with climate-induced migration and the effects concerned with it. So, apart from raising awareness, the youth climate clubs will also promote eco-friendly habits, which will prevent the further climate changes. So these eco-friendly habits are recycling, tree planting, and yeah, a lot more. And then the youth climate clubs will also help connect globally, just like what we are doing here, working together in order to come up with solutions on how to deal with climate-induced migration and the like. Even apart from climate-induced migration, we're working together to deal with other problems as well, apart from, yeah, climate-induced migration. So,
All right. All right, right. Thank you, Anganili. And maybe to just add on that one, in case you have other solutions that you are suggesting, and as far as especially looking at those solutions that can work in your community, please share them in the chat as we progress to the next slide where another colleague is going to come in.
Venancio?
Yes.
Okay, I just want to add one point. It's like we can also use peer-to-peer session. Like we can use peer-to-peer session to teach our community and the education. We can teach our fellow youth, classmates, young children, and even adults about save water, plant trees, manage waste, and protect nature. We can also use that method to teach our community leaders as a chief, pastors, because these people they have a big role about influence to the community. So I think peer-to-peer method can also help us to use for climate change. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much for that as a part of the solutions that we can take on board to try and ensure that we take the platforms, all the possible platforms we can use to try and create greatest awareness. Okay, our colleague is going to take us on this part. Thank you.
All right, thanks my colleagues and everyone. Now to proceed with our program, let's move into question and answer session. I will take 1 to 4 questions. However, I would like to ask you to make sure that your question rather is clear so that there is accurate and faster response. So you may type your question in the chat box, or you can just raise up your hand so that I can pick you to share your question. Then I'll present it to the right presenter to respond.
Any questions, please, or comments? You should probably check in the chat.
Yes.
Okay, so as we proceed on this point, in case you did not fill the pre-survey session, please, we remind you to fill it again, because later we'll also send you the post survey form for you to fill it out. Yes, Renacio, you have any questions that have popped up?
So far, I don't have any question. in chat box.
Or any comments?
Yeah, I think it is from the past discussion. Of course, they're saying from Jessica, she's saying when educating the community, there is a need of enforced mindset change. So that the implemented methods are not just for project but mainstream in their day-to-day lives. And again, we have from Elia Mchunga saying, I think for the best solutions in Nkatabe, TA Fuga Mapiri are creating agriculture youth clubs, supporting agriculture groups that exist. And here we have a question that's from Saina Muyaga, and it reads, can you please explain the climate-induced is all about? Just in a seconds, please. So the question is asking to explain the climate-induced in a brief. So someone can take that question.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. So just to respond on climate-induced migration. So we know migration is the movement of people from their area into another area. So climate-induced means that movement is being caused by either that or something, the impact of climate change, making people to decide to move from their area into another. So the decision is coming because there has been a disaster that is climate related. For instance, the cyclone flood that we had, when it started, it left people homeless. So people had no choice but to move into another area. That is climate. I hope this understood.
Yeah, thank you for your response. Though there was network blocking, but we have heard you. We have taken the point. I think for the Saina Muyaga, that's the response.
Yes,
Any comment or question?
And I had a comment.
Saina.
Okay, I was saying that thank you so much. I've heard you and I've understood.
All right.
Hello, hello. Would you like to share pre-test and post-test? Somebody was asking for pre-test, and if you share the post-test while we are here, we can also fill it out.
All right. Thank you. I think Venasio are going to share it right here in chat box.
I had one comment. And as
yeah.
So I just wanted to add on the action that we can take as young people. Something which I feel like has been missed out is to promote others call it eco-spirituality. So most people across the globe, there are people who are believers, they belong to different religions, and most religions support the care for the environment and all these actions that were suggested. So when we are promoting, we can also use this kind of platform where people are already believing in something, and their beliefs are so influential in terms of mindset change and also pushing people to take their climate smart practices. And also the culture, different cultures which have got different elements which promote climate smart or environmental management practices. We can leverage on those things so that we influence more people. Yeah, that's what I want to add. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, Matthew, for your comment. Now, I have a question in the chat box from Lima Tunungi. If forgive me if I have pronounced your name wrongly, but it says in Ethiopia, problems such as floods, landslides, and drought are the main challenges that causes community migration. So you support us, like they want to know from us, from Malawi, if we can support them. I think main point is how can we support them in terms of idea or solutions.
You hear the question? I think I didn't get the question properly, but I can see what is written in the comment to say how you can support us.
Yeah.
Can you expand the question, Renazio, on what you were saying? I think I didn't get it properly.
Yeah, the point is that in Ethiopia, problems such as floods, landslide, and drought are the main challenges that causes community migration. So the point is to ask us how to provide the solutions to these challenges. So maybe she or he wanted to know from us how can we support that situations by providing suggestions or solutions.
Okay, Matthews is going to take it.
Okay. Yeah, so thank you for the question. I think as I've already said, what happened in Malawi and what activities have been happening. So there are different ways that we can sample. The first one is, as we are sharing, we need to share what is happening there and what is happening in Malawi. So that we'll be able to learn from one another on the problems which are existing, but also the solutions that can offered. So there should be an exchange of knowledge. The other thing is there are other areas that people are not supposed to stay. They have to move away. So we need to promote, we need to have proactive actions of maybe encouraging people to be away from the disaster-prone areas, and also to promote conservation of natural resources which they are close to. Like in our case, those who are near mountains, they were heavily affected by the cyclone spread. And those who are close to the rivers, they are also very likely to be affected from the flood. So we need to encourage people to stay away from disaster-prone areas, but also at the same time, we need to encourage them to plant trees and put the structures which can prevent them being affected by this. And also, we need to promote, we need to do advocacy on the policies that we have in our country. Like in Malawi, we had been pushing for a disaster risk management act, which was passed in the parliament, and now at least we have the legal framework which is supporting the response to a disaster. The same in Ethiopia, if there is a policy in place, we can also do advocacy so that we make sure that these things are put in place to protect the people in a disaster. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Matthews, in responding to that. As we are running out of time now, we are going to finalize this. Okay. All right. As we finish this part, it is very important that we all understand that the fact that people are moving from their own homes into other areas, not by choice, but because they've been affected by what is happening to the environment. it is a learning point for each and everyone to say, high time we came together, we coordinated, we shared ideas and solutions towards what is happening across the world. Climate change is not just about one person or one country or someone who is quite knowledgeable about issues to do with climate change. Is something that we need to share so that together we work together and try to fight the impacts of climate change. At this juncture, let me encourage you to please fill out the post-test if you have already filled out the pre-test so that we have your great understanding of the topic. And tomorrow, our friends from our colleagues from Greece will be sharing with us another session on another topic as well. And please, we encourage you to join where possible. At this juncture, let me say thank you so much for taking your time and your contributions towards this. You will find the link to this video, and we shall make sure that um, it is also found on YouTube. And please continue to share the links to other colleagues so that they can also um, hear about what is happening out there and within the country. Thank you so much. Until we meet again tomorrow, have a blessed evening.
Good evening.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Bernasio.
Thank you.